Joy here from Media Outreach, and we are here in Indian Council of Cultural Relations in collaboration with Embassy of Ecuador with George Sharif. And he is one of the greatest violinists from that part of the world. So let me start with your early starting your early career in violin. You went to Tchaikovsky Conservatory, is that right?
No, I studied in Ecuador at the National Conservatory of Music. I graduated there, and then I got a scholarship to study in Florida at the Frost Music School in Miami. I had a fantastic teacher. He was a great violinist. His name was Thomas Moore. He died 10 years ago. And but he was a very versatile musician. You know, he was a fantastic teacher. He was a good soloist. He was a concertmaster. He was a chamber music player. He was an orchestra player. He had a very...
That's in Miami.
In Miami, yeah. He was a fantastic teacher. So I got my bachelor's degree there, and then a few years later I studied in Washington.
Catholic University.
At the Catholic University, he was very famous. He was Robert Gerle, Hungarian violinist.
Yes,
I mean,
Gerle.
yeah, he played all over the world. He played Carnegie Hall. He made recordings, and he was a fantastic teacher. So you know, I got very good teaching.
Very good mentors.
Yes, they both my mentors.
And
yes.
then when did you go to Salzburg?
I went to Salzburg in 1995. In between my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, I went to Salzburg and studied with Ruggero Ricci, which was
who is also very famous. And
one of the top.
Yeah. One of the tops.
Yeah, he was one of the top violinists of the 20th century. Yeah, and it was quite an experience. I was there for a whole summer program, almost over 2 months, working with him. It was a fantastic experience. Yeah.
And you yourself have performed in different places like Carnegie Hall and everywhere, all over the world.
Yes, thank God. I've been very fortunate. I have performed with India will be 46 countries around the world, and we have performed with Juan Carlos. We started our collaboration over 10 years ago, 11 years actually this year, and our first concert was in China at the National Theatre for the Performing Arts. We have done Carnegie Hall already. We did it in 2017. Actually, we got an award for that concert from the Association of Critics, Musical Critics in New York. And I'm very fortunate to have had the opportunity to play all over the world.
And great teachers also.
On
the way.
Yes.
So let's come to from Paganini to Andes, which you performed, which became very famous in Buenos Aires, I think.
Yes, we have done. I have a duo with a very famous Ecuadorian guitarist. He lives in Germany, and over 20 years ago, we decided to form this duo. And we call it the Paganini duo. And somebody asked me, you say, why Paganini? I mean, it's very pretentious. You are Ecuadorians. I mean, why Paganini? Because Paganini played the violin, but he also played the guitar. And he wrote a lot of music for the combination. He was one of the first composers who really exploded the combination of violin and guitar. So we decided to call it the Paganini duo. And when somebody asks us for the first concerts, what's the name of the concert? I usually don't put names to a concert or recital, but I thought, you know, from Paganini to the Andes.
Yes.
Why? Because we start with music of Paganini and we end up playing music by Ecuadorian composers. And this name of this title has given us the freedom of changing the program always, but in that framework, you know. So we can start with, you know, Bach music, and, you know, then Paganini, and then finish playing Piazzolla or an Ecuadorian composer. So it has been very versatile, and we have done Carnegie Hall together. We have done Sydney Opera House. We have done National Theatre for the Performing Arts in China. We have played in Japan, in Malaysia, all over the world. Russia. Yeah.
And who is your favorite composer?
Which is my favorite? That's a very hard. That's one of the hardest questions that you can ask a musician, because, for example, I love Bach, I love Paganini, and I love contemporary music too. I mean, so it's very difficult. You know,
You play Prokofiev and
I play Prokofiev and I play Barber. Rachmaninoff is for piano, but it's one of my favorite composers.
Yeah,
he wrote everything for piano, but he has some trios for violin, cello, and piano.
Oh, right.
And I play the trios, you know, so they're beautiful music, actually. I love the music of Rachmaninoff. Yes. But he didn't write that many violin music.
Yes, absolutely.
He's not his strongest point.
Yes. And as a teacher, what would you tell the younger generation who are picking up violin?
Well, you know, the violin, it's not as easy as the piano. I mean, all the instruments are difficult. You know,
Yes.
any instrument that you want to play, it's a difficult instrument to play well.
Yeah.
But at least in the piano, when you put your fingers on the key, it sounds. To make a violin sound is very difficult.
Very difficult.
It's very sensitive. The instrument is very sensible to any little change. And it can scratch easily. You can play out of tune very easily
Because it can be heard.
yes, and
Distortion.
just 1 millimeter
Yes.
in the finger, 1 millimeter, and you are already a quarter of a tone down. So so what I can tell you is, if you love music, I mean, and you want to do it, and you want to do it right, the only way is practicing. You have to give time to the instrument, and if that's your passion, if you love to play the piano or the guitar or the violin or the sitar or any instrument, you have to give time.
Yes.
And to really explode what you can do, because the technique is just a medium or the means to be able to express yourself. You want to be expressive, you have to have the technique to be expressive.
Yes. So we had a very nice conversation with
Thank you.
Georges, and I would just end with one note. Can you just tell our audience the Ecuadorial national dish, which is pupusas? What is
No,
it?
pupusas is not from Ecuador.
Oh,
No,
it's not?
no. Pupusas is from Central America.
Okay. So what's the national dish?
Well, there's different national dishes because, for example, Juan Carlos and I were from the coast.
Okay.
And the coast has different traditional dishes than the Andes.
Okay.
For example, in the Andes mountains, the potatoes, because of the high, it's exactly. So one of the typical dishes are called yapingachos,
Okay.
which are like a potato patty with cheese inside.
Okay.
And then they fry this, and you eat it with the fried egg, and they prepare a peanut sauce. And some, onions, and that's the traditional.
Stubble dish.
It's called yapingacho. For my city, we have seafood, and there is something called ceviche.
Okay.
It can be made of fish.
Fish.
Or shrimp or octopus or any other seafood.
Bengal is a fish-loving place.
Yes.
That's why I asked.
Yes. Oh, well, then
Yes,
you will love
yes,
the seafood in Ecuador,
yes.
because we have a lot of
Yes.
seafood and different dishes made of seafood.
Yes.
We also eat a lot of plantains.
Okay.
So there is a lot of dishes made with green plantains,
Okay.
called cazuela. This is the plantains with fish. It's like a pie of,
Yes,
of
pie.
plantain and fish.
Yes.
They're different. But
Yes.
pupusas are from El Salvador, Honduras. They like pupusas. Yes.
Thanks
Pleasure.
meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.